everyone, it's Heather Crosby from YumUniverse, and today I'm going to answer a question that I think is really fitting for this time of year. A lot of people take on resolutions and want to make changes and find that either their resolutions kind of trail off by February or they just can't seem to follow through with what they want to do. So I'm going to answer this question from Brenda. Let's see what she has to say. Brenda asks YumUniverse, I'm struggling with the transformation to a plant-based diet. I've gathered lots of information, clipped recipes, and even bought a juicer, but for some reason I'm so stuck in my habits that I feel overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. So my question is, how do I actually start? The first step is acknowledging that a plant-based diet, while we use the term diet, it isn't really something that is temporary, which I think that the word diet tends to imply. It's a lifestyle. It's going to be for the rest of your life. So think about it. You've worked up to this point, maybe decades, eating a certain way and believing certain things about what's actually healthy for you. So to change that, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's a lot like learning a whole new language, and you're not going to learn Chinese overnight. It's going to take you years before you can speak it fluently. So I recommend taking on a little bit, little bit by little. So, for example, once a week, make a plant-based meal and get used to all of the intricacies and the new techniques and the new ingredients, and then once that becomes effortless for you, add another one to the rotation. Be really patient with yourself and just give yourself some time to become accustomed to this way of eating. If it becomes something that's frustrating for you or you feel overwhelmed, you're going to have resentment towards it. It's not something that's going to stick. And realize that this is something that, it's a journey. It's for the rest of your life. So you're constantly going to be learning. Take it little by little. Another tip for staying inspired is something that I tend to always do is keep books from authors that I really like by my bedside. Because I always try to read a little bit before I go to bed. So anything by T. Colin Campbell, Brendan Brazier, Dr. Furman. It's really great to read, the information and the why I've made these choices. Just kind of keeps me refreshed. I also like to read recipe books before I go to bed, so I can see what's going on with all these ingredients and all the different ways you can use them, and you'll probably fall asleep with some ideas that you'll want to try the next day. So, keep some books by your bedside. It's really important to be understanding with yourself during this transition. Focus on the accomplishments that you've made instead of comparing yourself to someone else or, an ideal that's not quite attainable yet. Be reasonable with yourself and realize what you can do and, take those baby steps. Something else that will help is keeping a food journal. Write down what you eat and how you feel when you eat it when you're being healthy. And then if you fall off the wagon, write about what you've eaten and how you feel when you're not eating the best foods. Like I said, I keep saying this is a journey, but the best roadmap is the one that you write for yourself. So keep track of what you're doing in a food journal, how you're feeling, and before long you're going to know what foods are best for you, what works best with the time that you have, and what works best for you in social situations. Just document. I highly recommend that you document. Brenda also asks me, how do I prepare these foods and stay on track when I live in a household with omnivores and herbivores? So that's a question that I get all the time, and I plan on elaborating on all the solutions for that these next coming months. And I do in the post below this video. But one of the most important things to realize is that most of the recipes, if not all of the recipes on YumUniverse, I create with this in mind. I actually even test all of these recipes on people who tend to still eat meat and tend to still eat dairy, because I want them to taste really good, and I want them to realize what's possible with vegetables and nutrient-rich foods. So most of these recipes you can serve to the omnivores in your household and they're going to love them. For example, like the millet and kale salad, it's got a creamy cashew cheese sauce. The lasagna is a big hit. In the post below I list a bunch of recipes and link to them, but a lot of times with these recipes, like for example the quinoa tacos, when you're living in a household with the omnis and the herbies, you can totally create everything that you need to and have the spread for everyone to fill these tacos with what they want. Having the quinoa available for them is really great so they can try it, but then also just make some ground beef. And all you have to do is make ground beef or ground turkey or whatever they want to fill it with, but you have the non-dairy ancho sauce, you've got the lettuce, you've got some beans, you've got all of the other healthy components so they can then try it and ease into it. And again, a lot of the recipes on the site, you can do that as well. If you need to add a little bit of chicken or some egg to something, you can, but know that it's not going to really alter the recipe because the main recipe is really delicious. So go ahead and read this post and all the details and all the links that I've included for you. Hope that helps, Brenda. Let me know if you have any more questions, and the rest of you, let me know if you have any questions or any tips for Brenda, any other suggestions. So stay tuned for more. Happy New Year, everyone.